All right, everybody, welcome to Blades in the Dark, the Gambit, week number 4. Sorry about the wait. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning of our show and had to solve that before we went live. So we are here. My name's Matt. I'm joined by 0.05 upload speed, Ian, Emily, and Anthony. And, yeah, we're going to attempt to play Blades in the Dark tonight.
You're going to fucking die. I'm going to kill all of you.
Oh, God.
Just to make myself feel better now.
Okay. Well, so Michael.
What the hell?
Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye. Have a good night. Next time we'll be live is January 24th. If I don't, I think we'll be live then. I hope. Anyway, no. Yeah, we are actually going to play tonight, but we're attempting to deal with some internet issues. As you can see below me, Michael, who recently moved to Kansas and moved into the dorms at the school he's going to, has very bad internet currently. Mike, why don't you just fill us in on how you're doing and also how your internet is?
Well, I would love to try, first, can you hear me now? Am I
can.
a robot?
No, you actually sound fine right now.
Okay.
For the
Well,
time
so
being.
that's the only two things I have open on my computer now are Roll20, Skype, and the PDF for Blades in the Dark. So I hope that will help, and not having my webcam on. We'll see. I'm just wanting to play some role-playing games and murder some fools to relieve myself from the stress of the first week of school. So,
Yeah.
and dealing with this nonsense that is this town that I am living in now.
Yeah, you have your school is wired for fiber, correct?
Yes, the main administration building of the school has fiber running to it, but it's not running to any of the dorm rooms. But that's still like halfway there, They would so.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
That I don't have better internet than I do.
For sure.
I'm trying to move out to a neighboring town that has better internet, but I need to make more money for that to happen. So.
All right, Ian, how are you, man?
I've been better.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you excited for Blades in the Dark tonight? And to do some crime?
I'm mustering my energy right now.
That's fine. I had coffee earlier today because I also had to muster some energy.
I probably should have had coffee.
Coffee's good.
Maybe it would help my computer not unmute me randomly without being even near it or touching the keyboard.
It was just so funny because I didn't hear anything because I have the music playing in my headphones, and then just very suddenly Ian was there, and that was a funny moment more than anything. So
I walked into the other room, and my brother, I said something to him, and then he looked at me and he was just like smiling, and I'm like, he said, I heard you just say something. And so I turned around and walked back into the room. So
well, that's okay. All is well on our end. We're good. Just excited to play Blades with you. Emily, how are you? How have you been?
Oh, I am okay. I've been stuck in my house for a week and a half almost. I went out once to get groceries this past week, and I've been working from home because my street is, well, I'm sitting on a hill and it's a solid sheet of ice.
Yeah.
Even though we just got freezing rain today, so most of the snow that was on top of that ice is kind of gone now. There's still layers to get through. So I have been stuck. This has been my place of residence and work and play and sorrow, and I've just been here. I feel like this is my new life now.
just always on the computer in your home.
Forever at home,
I don't know.
alone.
Yikes! I'm sorry. At least you have cats.
I do have cats. They're either the only thing that's keeping me sane, or they're helping me. They're easing my descent. You know.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Yes, they accept me for who and what I am and what I am becoming in this place.
Anthony, how are you, man?
Same.
Okay. Except not though, right? Because you work in a company
opposite.
that yeah, same but opposite.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. You've been out a lot.
Yeah, I work for a company that does snow and ice removal, which
Hey, where you guys been?
for business. But we mostly make sure that banks don't get sued, and daycares don't get sued, and Lowe's doesn't get sued. So we've got crews that go out at about midnight, and I go in the morning and sort through their timesheets and stare at spreadsheets all day and argue with people across the country about whether or not we did things. Basically, that's a
great.
big portion of my job right now. Which is
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure that the people on the other side of the country know a lot about what you've done here on the West Coast.
Yep.
I did the thing. No, you didn't do the thing. I'm sure I did the thing. I'm sure. Nope. you
Yeah.
did. Thank you.
Yeah.
A big portion of it is all run through smartphone apps, because
Interesting.
These clients like to know when people are on site administering these services, and apps don't work very good for really much of anything. But when it's a game, who cares?
Yeah, when
But,
it's Flappy Bird, it's fine, but
Yeah, when it's like generating invoices, it's a little bit of
that's
a
fine.
less fine thing. So that's my life the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks, basically. But
Yeah.
we're all a team.
Yes. Yeah. We here in the Portland area, Portland, Oregon area, have been experiencing I would say quite a bit of snow, but if any of you watching are like from anywhere that isn't the Northwest, it's not that. it's
It's
like
very little.
Yeah, we've had like 8 inches of snow in the past week. More in some
Like
areas.
average of a foot.
Average of a
in the
foot.
whole area.
He would
Yep.
know. So okay.
Um,
Average of a foot in every area. And when you're in this part of the state, the snow gets really packed down and icy. It's all very like wet and bad, and there's no good, with the exception of private companies, like there's no good like infrastructure for dealing with ice. So like things have been closed all the time. I didn't go to work today because my office was closed, and yeah, it's been crazy. It's been like that for a while. So I like many of us have also been experiencing a degree of here I am in my home again today, all day again. Yeah, so just excited to play some Blades in the Dark, and hopefully some more Magic Online. If you guys happen to catch a stream of that earlier this week, I've been playing some Magic Online here on twitch.tv/friendlyfiretv, and Ian tabbed over into something else as soon as I said the word magic, which is like right on cue. And yeah, it's good. It's great. Magic's good.
Aether Revolt's pretty cool.
Aether Revolt is pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool cards that I'm excited to play with, and I'm excited
Did,
to.
either of you... I was gonna say, did either of you go to the pre-release?
We didn't actually.
it's the first one for a while for me.
Yeah, same. Like we've gone to
And-
pre-releases for everything since cons. Together, I think actually. So
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. so a couple
It's a
years.
bummer. It looks
yeah.
like they have a cool. There's a cool
Well,
pre-release kit this time, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's
Looks
neat.
neat.
And pre-releases are always fun, but like the snow is a pretty big issue for that this week.
Yes.
But there's a lot of really cool cards that are going to be modern and maybe even legacy playable in Aether Revolt. So that's very good and very nice, and it's looking very sweet. I myself am looking forward to trying out some new artifact-based janky stuff that I'm gonna call Affinity, but really it's gonna be like some Affinity cards and some other stuff. And so make sure to tune in. Yeah, make sure to tune into a live stream of that, because who knows, maybe we'll stumble upon something great. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started with some Blades in the Dark. Ian, why don't you give us a little bit of a recap about where we were and what we were up to last week?
Yeah, so last time we decided as a crew that we were going to take a claim rather than going after a score. So the crew settled on the luxury fence upgrade, and the process that they decided to go for it was to scout out the fence and discover that it was controlled by the Foghounds, which are kind of, I guess, they were our nemesis for a while, because basically they were the people that hated us the most out of everyone. So
Figured might as well just kill them all.
Yeah.
yeah. So in the process of kind of scoping the place out, we discovered that killing them all was not as far-fetched as was once believed. So the crew decided to kind of trick them into capturing one of the members, aka Weaver, and bringing him back to their steamship.
The plan was a little bit convoluted.
It as a GM, it's probably the most complicated plan I've ever had to take, in that I was having a rough night and I didn't understand half of what was being described to me. So
all our plans are complicated.
Yeah.
That's how we make them happen. If we confuse the DM, we can confuse all the NPCs in the world.
If we confuse the DM, we can do whatever we want.
Right? That's how it works.
Exactly. We win the game.
Right.
If the DM's confused, the NPCs are confused.
What
That's
if
how it
we, the
works,
PCs,
you know?
made a puzzle so dense the DM couldn't even solve it?
Full of red mango.
I love you. I love you, Ian. Anyway, yeah, we continue. We'd planned to kidnap the guy.
So they after Weaver was kidnapped, the plan was for Lyric and Oscar to board the ship to pay to pretend to pay their ridiculous ransom that was maybe exaggerated by a member of the Foghounds, while Krisa, using the bandits, I guess, like, I say kind of deceive the guy doing the deliveries, but really just happened to work out really, really well in our favor that there was a shipment of explosives for that day. So the Krisa and the bandits deposited a shipment of explosives onto the boat, while the rest of the crew were dealing with the I guess, stubbornness of the Foghounds, and the result of which was it broke out into a brawl really quickly. Some mean words were said. A ghost was summoned to restrain an angry Russian-sounding man, and one of our members may have tapped into his powers without realizing the consequences of them.
Hey, Lamau.
Yeah. I think we can figure out which one that was.
I actually can't. Was it me or was it Weaver? Because we
It was
both tapped
Weaver.
into powers.
Yeah, but your powers are a little bit more controllable than his.
Okay.
So,
okay,
and we ended it with, I believe it was Krisa pushing the Foghound delivery men, hastily named Marcus, into the cargo hold.
That's his full name, hastily named Marcus.
Yeah. That's his nickname, is hastily named. Yeah.
Just imagine him walking into a bar like they call me hastily named Marcus.
Why do they call you that? Oh, because the GM thought of it like in 3 seconds. So after pushing Marcus into the hold, he triggered the explosives, ending hastily named Marcus's hastily created life fairly hastily.
Wow.
So
What a way to go.
Wow.
And so we cut back
Pasta
in.
la vista.
Oh my god.
Dude, it's really that.
So if he's hasty, does that mean he can attack the turn he comes out?
No,
mean-
he's
He could if he wasn't dead.
yeah. He died to spaghetti-based actions.
Yeah. So I
We're
think
making
what
magic jokes.
Magic pasta jokes.
It's kind of niche. I understand that, but it's good.
the bit that I like is because I don't remember. Real quick note that our code word last week to activate said explosives was spaghetti. So
Nope.
I'm just
it was
kidding.
spaghetti. Pretty sure it was
It's spaghetti.
Fettuccine.
Alfredo.
Spaghetti.
Afraid spaghetti.
There's no
spaghetti.
alternatives.
Yeah.
Let's do
So I think what we're seeing right now, because we cut back into the action, is the occupants of the rear of the boat. And if you'll go to Roll20,
Oh, I'm already
I
there,
have
baby.
pulled up a very hastily, I guess. Again, the word
classic
haste
Marcus.
there. Yeah. Created blueprint of the ship. The little different colored dots are different characters of the crew. And if you'll look at the names, I've also written them as the same color as their dots. So
Nice.
I could have done it easier ways, but I liked this way. So
No,
you
it's
know,
good.
we're.
I like all the little Cheerio people. It's good.
Yeah.
No, really,
We're
it's
cute.
good.
Bear is huge and in many places at once.
Cheerios out of 10.
He's a lot of
Yeah.
question mark shapes and words.
He stretches from the lower deck to the upper deck.
As well.
Yeah.
Dude, huge.
Yeah, he gets around. But yeah, I'll just do it real quick. Right now, what we're looking at, the top one is the lower deck, obviously. The bottom one is the upper deck. And if you give me a second, I'll give you a.
Sorry, quick question. So, what are the large red circles?
Yeah. So the large red circles are the
Stairway.
yeah, the stairways. The kind of
Okay, they're like the portals.
porthole.
Yes.
Like a little Sorry, I'm trying to find. A
No,
picture
now
of
that
ship.
I'm looking at it, I understand exactly what you mean because I see that they line up between the upper and lower
Yep.
decks.
Yeah, they kind of felt pretty good about that. But yeah, those are the if you look at the ship, this one I believe where I'm pinging it right now.
Mhm.
The one on the left was the one you guys came down, so you kind of came down that one past Krisa all the way to the back room over here. And the one over here is just one you might have saw. So right now, all the crew is back in that back room. And the exterior, I'll post it in chat, of the ship kind of looks like this, but not quite as big. And not as many men on there. So
Dang, I had hopes.
yeah, there's a lot of
It's an ironclad from the Civil War
yeah.
era.
As I watched the VODs, I cringed as I heard myself reference the boat out of Revenant without realizing that I was thinking of a different movie, and the boat out of Revenant does not look like this
Those
boat.
are canoes.
Yeah,
I actually haven't
was
seen
like,
the Revenant yet,
well, I
so I don't
missed
know.
Neither have I. I was like, well, does that movie get really weird? It seemed like they're like.
No, I don't know why I said the Revenant. I was thinking of
Leonardo.
another.
Yeah,
Movie, so
Leonardo DiCaprio's
That's
fighting a
awesome.
bear, and then the bear becomes an ironclad.
yeah, you can remember it's the movie, the one from the Gangs of London movie. I believe they're yeah. Or wait,
Anyway,
anyways, so after entering, you guys are around this back room. So I think what we cut back on is the occupants of the ship being rattled and knocked to their sides, onto their sides because of a giant explosion that has rocked the ship. And Krisa, you are thrown back from the doorway where you were standing, largely unharmed, which I feel very I mean,
He's
I want to
lucky.
give you a harm, but also it was really cool how you did it, so I'm also not going to. So
Rule of
go
cool,
into that
baby.
later. So yeah, you're kind of blown off your feet by hot air that exits the room as the explosion goes off,
Hot
tossed
spaghetti
against
air.
the wall. The shadows are all basically knocked to their knees as they fall around you, and the rest of you in the back room just as you're all staring each other down. I believe like the second in command Goldie was advancing on him and Lyric.
Yes, because I shot somebody.
Yeah, you did.
Oops.
Shot man by the door.
Yeah.
Everyone is knocked to like your knees or off balance. I think Matt, I believe Oscar was sitting in a chair.
I was?
Is that right? Yeah. The chair like skitters across the room slightly.
Does it stay
Like-
upright?
It stays upright, but you slide against a wall, like, and you're like not gently, but like enough
Right.
for you not to knock over. So
I imagine it like goes up on two legs, but Oscar like expertly drifts it.
yeah,
I assume it knocks me over too, right?
yeah. You're like thrown against a wall, and then you fall to the ground. Like the wind knocked out of you, but you're not hurt.
So, knees weak.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.
These weak plans.
Oh, God.
Spaghetti.
Okay.
My palms
Anyways.
are sweaty. I don't know about you.
Oh my gosh.
There's no vomit on my sweater though, so feel like we kind of failed that one. But,
Damn.
so yeah, you're thrown against the wall, and the rest of the crew is knocked over, and I think we'll kind of flash to the back room where you're all getting up. Bear, it is to note, Bear is still now, rather than being restrained against the wall, the ghost is holding him to the floor. And Weaver, as this happens, and you're already on the ground from being like kind of dropped by Bear as the ghost grabbed him. Your vision kind of darkens a little bit, like you're about to pass out, but you don't get all like you don't get really faint, and you're kind of, your head doesn't hurt at all. Like your vision just kind of grays a bit, and this voice inside's like, "You better watch out, because if you don't, be careful." That's a stupid voice. What the? I'm gonna give.
Roll with it, dude. I loved it.
It was
Yeah,
a wonderful voice.
Maybe people wouldn't like this character to be voiced like that. So how about we'll go back and redo that? So the voice says like, "If you're not careful, I could have used this situation to take control. I feel like I'm giving you warning right now, and I feel like it's pretty fair of me to do so, and you won't get it again."
I think that Weaver, he just like, if you're watching him, he just shakes his head, tries to clear his vision, and tries to get back in the fight.
Yeah, the voice says like, "Not so fast. I think you'll find that you need to sit down, young man." And like your legs collapse a little bit. Like you felt strong enough, but suddenly your knees.
Are weak.
Yeah.
No! Not again!
We've done it now.
And you collapse back onto the floor, and like your hands hit the floor, like you're propping yourself up, and
When I collapse.
I'm possessed by Macklemore.
What did you just say?
What?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Just keep talking.
Anyways, your vision fades again, and the voice says, "All right, well, I feel like the situation dictates that I let you get back to it, but I will say, be warned, because I'm not giving you a second chance." And your vision slowly comes back in your knees. You can feel the strength return to them, as like essentially this warmth fades back into them, that like you feel a little bit more, I guess, at ease of the situation as you can now stand. Everyone else in the room is getting back onto their feet now. You're still on your knees. Bear is kind of wrestling rather than being restrained, he's now actually fighting back against this ghost to the best of his ability. And so there's a chance right in here for someone to act against him if someone wishes to.
Against Bear?
Yeah.
I believe.
He's restrained.
Yeah.
And he's
Like,
got knocked off his feet.
I think like Oscar is just sort of in that action, right, of doing that, like as far as it pertains to Bear. So I don't think he can really do another thing necessarily. He's certainly not spry enough to stand up and give a little poke with a knife or anything.
I think with me, I'm like on my hands and knees at this point if I imagine right, because I just, went to the ground. And so I kind of like grabbed my dagger that probably fell out of my hand at one point and just kind of like crawl over to Bear and just try to like plunge the dagger into his throat.
Okay. Then I think we'll make a roll for that. What are you? You're trying to kill him, so I mean, what roll are you going to use to do that?
Probably just skirmish.
Okay.
Would I be able to argue for either increased position or increased effect because he's restrained?
I think the fact that you were already on the ground and unable to get up like everyone else, you're looking at an decreased, like whatever bonus you'd be getting from that is decreased back to normal because you were kind of held back from getting to your feet.
Okay. So a risky position standard effect?
I would say it's a desperate position still.
Okay.
The desperate position...
I like desperate positions. They're cool.
Let me think about effect. What do you have? What's your abilities right now?
Skirmish is 2.
Okay. So you don't have anything giving you tier advantages.
No, I don't have not to be trifled with or anything like that.
Yeah. I was checking.
I have the Rising Moon style ability, but I imagine I'm not in a position to utilize that at this moment because I'm not, on my feet with both my hands being utilized. I'm just on the ground with my dagger in one hand. So I don't think. Yeah.
Okay.
So, desperate position is fine for me.
Yeah, and I think right now, I can hear an argument, but I'm thinking right now it's also limited effect because of tier stuff. Him being a tier 1 fighter as well.
He's restrained.
He is restrained, but he's still a very strong man, and you're not just going to necessarily walk up and stab him in the throat at this point with everyone else in the room as well.
All right, then can you offer me a devil's bargain for another dice?
Yes. I like those. My devil's bargain is that you essentially doing this will draw the attention of Margit, the leader of the Foghounds, who's in the room. I think what happens, what I would say is happening is as she gets to her feet, she kind of sees you out of the corner of her eye and realizes you are possibly about to murder her subordinate, one of her top men, so she will focus you rather than anyone else.
Okay, but that wouldn't, if I get the success in the roll, obviously it wouldn't take that away from me.
No. So, and I'm not necessarily saying she's going to do anything at this second as well. She's just, it's like you are the biggest threat to her and her crew right now in her eyes.
I'll take that.
Okay.
All right, so desperate position, limited effect, plus the devil's bargain. Let's roll it. 4.
That's okay.
It's not terrible. Let me find my stupid. There we go.
On a 4, I do it. Consequence, either severe harm or serious complication.
Yeah. So you crawl over to Bear, and you see his eyes meet yours as this ghost of a sailor kind of.
And there's probably a hint of what just happened in my eyes still. So they're jumbled and they're not clear. They're not focused yet.
Okay. Yeah, and he there's like a hint of fear in his face as this sailor, looks into your eyes, and he also sees your eyes are kind of strange as well. And you bring the knife down.
Eyes, yeah,
um,
eyes.
Yeah.
And you bring the knife down against his throat, and it like cuts in, and he kind of struggles a bit, so you don't get as clean a cut as you'd wanted to. And he kind of screams and yells out, and Margaret yells like a very loud no across the room, as your like sword goes through, like your knife goes through his neck.
Hell yeah. Kill him dead.
And he kind of, his eyes go like all dead for a second, and then this like strength that wasn't there before kind of rushes into them, and he looks at you essentially, and with this just a strength that no one could have foreseen, like jumps onto you, and headbutts you in the chest, and just like knocks you off your feet. And I think you're going to take like a level 2 harm, because he's not using any weapons, but it is his body, and he is a strong man. So
He's a 2/2, yeah. I think that when Oscar sees Bear like die and then get back up, like I imagine that Oscar's just generally attuned enough to know whether he like actually died or just took a pretty hefty hit.
He didn't die.
Okay. So Oscar looks at the sailor ghost that he's like brought up, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? I didn't say stop, did I?" And like trying to imply that the ghost should get back onto Bear and continue to do the restraining.
I mean, the ghost is still holding on to him. It's just that he was restraining his arms, not his legs.
Sure. I'm still implying that he should
do
a better job.
Okay, and the ghost like looks at you, and he kind of gives you this look like, "What do you think I'm doing?" He even says like, "What?" And he goes back to like pushing Bear to the ground, and Bear's bleeding all over the floor and kind of gurgling now as Weaver kind of doubles over from the pain of this massive man.
This is all happening, and Oscar's
chest.
like looking at Weaver like, "Damn, that guy's getting beat up," but he's also just like trying to give a pep talk to the ghost, like, "You wanted your revenge against this arsehole. You better take it now. You're not going to have another opportunity. I'm not coming back for you. This is your one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime."
And just for the sake of honorable game, I don't know if you took into account my level 1 harm that I already have that gives me less effect when you accounted for that.
I didn't, but I still think I think it's, I mean, I couldn't really give you much less effect.
Right.
Just means my trying to figure out
Damn.
you get or just normal is justified and that you get reduced. So I'll keep it in mind in the future, though.
Sure. And that was going to be level 2. I'm going to use my armor to reduce that to 1.
Okay. Keep in mind, though, the next time you take level 2 or level 1, you won't be able to knock it down to... if you knock it down to level 1, it'll just go back to level 2, because the amount of level 1 harm you can have is 2. And if you take level 1 harm, you'll take level 2 harm instead. Just...
Okay. All right, yeah, so what would be my harm label for this?
I think it's... I remember he actually punched you with his, like, spiked gauntlet last week, when we played last, and the kind of cut open, so it's going to be like a... maybe like bruising and like a reopening of the wound, so just call it like lacerations, for like simplicity's sake.
Okay.
And so everyone else now is standing up. Lyric, Goldie looks at you, and is going towards, like, making his way towards you as Margaret starts to steady herself and try to walk across the room. The boat is still kind of, rocking back and forth, so it's not a a steady walk, and the rest of the other Foghound that was not hurt is making his way. He's on his feet now, and the one that is hurt, however, is not in a good place. He was against the door, so he wasn't prepared to like brace himself at all. So he was thrown against the table in the room that the chair that Oscar was sitting at was at, and he is not at all in a good spot, and is like just now getting to his feet, bleeding and holding his head. So does somebody want to do? Who wants to go do something?
So you said that Goldie was coming toward me.
Yeah, because last week when you shot Bear and
Mhm.
and Lee, and one of the guard who is now not in a good spot, he went after you. He saw you as the biggest threat, and went after you. So he's advancing on you with like his sword in hand.
Okay. Yes, because given that situation, so I imagine that I came into this heavily armed since I was acting as Oscar's bodyguard. So I would like to whip out my electroplasmic harpoon and try to stab him.
Hell yeah.
Just
Okay.
skewer him through. If he's coming at me with a sword, I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. What are you rolling?
Let's see. I don't know if hunt would work. It could be a skirmish.
It sounds like a skirmish because you're trying to kind of like beat him to the stab by stabbing him.
Yeah. So I think skirmish would
Vastly.
probably be it. So what's my
Okay.
position?
Your position is also desperate. The situation you might be better off had not the explosion all knocked you off your feet, so you're still at desperate positions.
And effect?
Effect is, I think. Let me see your stuff. Sorry, I'm also trying to look up some other info for things. I think your effect will just be standard right now.
Okay. Sure.
Do you want to take a devil's bargain or push yourself?
What might be a devil's bargain?
Let me think. Do you guys have any things that you instantly think, oh, this would be a good one?
Yes, perhaps you get plus 1d, but the harpoon, whether it hits him or not, is stuck in a surface momentarily. Whether that surface is him or the wall or whatever.
Okay.
It takes
So
you
basically,
some
it'd be
time
harder
to yeah, it takes you some time to just get it back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're for the near future, you won't be able to use it unless you try to get it back.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like I would have to do something to try and acquire it sooner. Yeah. I think that's fair. Okay. Cool. So one for that, and here we go.
Hey.
Okay.
Make sure to be marking down the XP for your desperate rolls, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
I did that.
Nice.
Do that.
XP. I got that.
Yeah, so he advances on you and you whip out your spear, and you kind of jab at him and he goes to parry it, but he's shaken from being knocked off his feet, and the fact that it's also like a harpoon and not a normal fighting weapon, and he's not ready for the weight of it. It doesn't quite do it right, so you kind of gash his arm open that he currently has his sword in, and it starts bleeding profusely, and he kind of drops the weapon and kind of retreats momentarily.
Okay.
So is he like
So it-
hurt or?
Oh yeah, he's hurt. And as he retreats, he kind of grabs a gun out of his off of his side. You know, he was kind of avoiding it through close quarters, and also he is the opposite of Giuseppe and prefers swords. And so he draws a gun and he goes to point it towards your direction.
Whose?
At Lyric, yeah,
Oh.
at Lyric.
Great. Should I respond at this point, or are we going around to different people?
Well, so he's kind of not necessarily. He goes to point it at you, but he's not necessarily pointing at you yet. I think
Okay.
what happens next is Margit is going for Bear to see if he's all right, as well as deal with Weaver.
Okay.
Can she see the ghost that is restraining Bear?
I think most people in the room can see the ghost. He's not. You can probably. I want to say.
I mean, I would hope that everyone can see the ghost.
Yeah. They can see the ghost to varying. He's kind of like the ghosts out of Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, when they kind of fade in from being fully human to being like decayed humans, just like skeletons and stuff. So he's kind of washing in and out of various like bloated corpse to like a normal man to like a skeleton.
Sure. Same.
Yeah. That's just my normal life. Normal Wednesday.
Yeah.
So she goes to Bear and sees that while he's not dead, he is probably not going to make it. And she gets like really angry, and I think she's going to advance on you, Weaver.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything before she gets to you, or is there? I mean, because right now she's not messing around.
I imagine at this point I can assume that I'm back on my feet with both weapons in hand, ready to fight.
There's like a little blood at your lip from where, like,
Yeah.
from being beaten up multiple times. But ultimately, you're just a little bit shaken.
How hurt is she at this moment?
She's not.
She's not. Okay. This is risky. I'm going to fight offensively,
Okay.
increasing the level of harm I deal and increasing the level of harm I receive as well.
Okay.
Hopefully this doesn't kill me.
I don't think it will, but we'll find out. What are you going to roll?
It'd be skirmish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the same as last time. Right now, there's still a lot of, like, for one, there are not pushovers. Like, they kind of act like, they were kind of bad at the draw, but they're still not. They're like a higher crew than you, so they're not just, just going to keel over. So she's pretty good right now in terms of fighting you. So I think it'll probably be a desperate position, limited effect.
I like it. Devil's bargains. Anybody? I like him.
I can't think of one.
I think let me take a look at the ship. I think the devil's bargain is that gosh, I had one just a minute ago that would be perfect for this situation, but I can't remember it now. So I don't have anything right now. The devil's bargains are probably one of the hardest things in this game is for me, because it's just like you really have to be aware of everything. Let me real quick. I'll just check your character to see if I can. That's Krisa.
Hey, how much stress do you have just able to use?
Right now, I have...
Emily.
Oh, Emily.
I currently have only 3.
Only 3 remaining?
Yeah.
Only 3 that I can use before I trauma.
I have 5.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for you, Mike. I'll try and remember it next time and figure something out.
Think maybe I don't know, a good one might be that the engagement just takes more time, and so I'm engaged with her for a more extended period of time, so I can't really help
Okay.
anyone else do anything until this conflict is resolved, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, just because of, I'd imagine we're on relatively even footing, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be just a one and done type of fight. It's going to be a bout, and
Yeah.
we're going to fight for some time.
If not for the fact that you were hurt, you would probably be pretty okay fighting against her. So I think that's a safe one.
Desperate, limited effect still.
Yeah.
And Devil's Bargain. Come on, 6. Yes.
Nice.
All right.
I like it.
So she goes for you and like takes out her scimitar and kind of goes to slash at you, and you deflect it with your it was a karambit knife, right?
Yeah, karambit style.
Okay, yeah, kind of deflect it. I mean, how does Weaver, when we look at him fight, what does he look like when he fights?
He's
So
nude.
right now, whereas before he was fighting more reserved, trying to keep himself back, keep himself safe, he's more moving in towards her strikes instead of away. So he's really trying to get up in her space, fighting a little bit more recklessly than he was. It still obviously looks as though it's very skilled fighting, just less controlled than it was before.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of fight her, she was expecting you to be, a little bit more, I guess, of a pushover, like not to be as adept as you were, and she wasn't ready for your kind of offensive fighting. So you are right now kind of in a sword fight, and you are pretty much getting the better of her right now. It's still pretty even, but she's kind of flustered. It gets like pushed back against a wall. You're fighting in the corner of the room. And like I think it's about this time that cries can be heard from like above you guys on the like upper deck, as the rest of the Foghounds are trying to figure out why there's been a massive explosion. Does anybody? I mean, Matt, do you want to do? The other two have kind of done stuff. Do you want to do something? Do you want to do something before we go over to Krisa real quick?
No, I want to go to Krisa.
Okay.
Oscar's
Okay.
pep talking this ghost and trying to. Oscar's just, he's not the guy that hops into action. So.
Okay. Yeah, this ghost is your pep talk is more of he's kind of in the thought pattern of I have to do what you say at this point.
Yeah, it's a verbal lashing for sure.
Yeah, he's like not. He's like
ghost.
you're clearly not being helpful to him, but like at the same time, he has to do everything you tell him to do. So
yeah.
Flash over across the boat to the front where Krisa, you're picking yourself off the ground. The bandits are kind of, dusting off their disguises, pulling out their weapons. Marcus's body is briefly visible as a charred corpse on the other side of the storage bay. And as you get up, you can hear the shouting that's coming from up deck, and the noises from the other room, like gunshots and sword clashes.
And
A
Oscar
yell of
calling
no.
people gobshites. And...
Yeah, he's one of the closest people to the door, so you can hear him pretty well as it kind of wafts down this long corridor.
The fuck are you doing? Get in there and fight!
Yeah.
So there's some gang members kind of midway between me and our crew.
Yeah.
And this chaos over there, right?
Yeah, they're in the process of picking themselves up. They were also thrown against this wall. I'll move them to kind of where they are. And they're kind of picking themselves up and trying to get their sea legs as the ship rocks.
Yeah.
Are we like fully enveloped in the ship on the lower deck? Are we inside, or is it kind of exposed and open?
So so if you look at the picture that I had up here, you can kind of see that there's a slope to the with the deck on top of it. And where that slope is, where all those like cannons are protruding, is where you guys are at right now. There's a hallway that leads down that side.
So it's
Yeah,
enclosed.
so we're very much below decks.
Yeah, this kind of thing outside of this square, this thing I'm kind of marking right now on Roll20 is the slope. It reaches from the top deck down to there to the water.
Gotcha.
So there's a few of those kind of portholes / slots on the side, but you're pretty much closed in.
Okay. It's not a big open railing or anything like that. They're
No,
built against a wall.
There's walls and such. There's like the ladder behind the bandits.
Can you describe the red parts of the loading bay over there and maybe the damage of the explosion a little bit more for me?
Yeah, so let me get my draw tool. So these red parts of the loading bay are actually doors, sliding doors that they would load stuff from the loading bay into. Yeah, like big sliding doors that are like reach from the floor.
Slide together.
Yeah.
Or are they like garage doors?
No, they slide together.
Okay.
And they're kind of this one right here that I'll mark with an X is actually kind of buckled inwards.
From the
This way.
explosion.
Yeah, away from the explosion. The explosion is encompassing this area right here.
Yep.
I could look for
No, I
explosion.
think that communicates what your intention for sure. So it doesn't. I mean, the explosion doesn't just demolish that whole room. It's more like a very loud, contained.
Yeah. So there's kind of a hole in the floor, and you can see that there's some water slowly pouring in. It's not a massive hole.
Okay, so it did cause structural damage to the ship,
Yes.
but it's not like a gaping thing.
Like you're not in like it's not such a water like leak that you're suddenly in fear of drowning in this ship. It's very gradual.
Okay, so it's more like a leak, but the boat is taking on water, right?
Yeah, the boat is taking on water very slowly.
Is there a fire?
There's not a fire like the boat is not on fire, but the cargo that was surrounding that area is completely destroyed. Most of the cargo against the walls, those kind of squares and rectangles and such, are damaged, and they're catching fire from the explosion.
What's ping?
I believe it's
Hold
you
down
go select move,
control.
hold down.
Or actually, you
I
can
just hold
click.
that.
Yeah, you can just click.
Yeah, right. Hold down, right click.
Hold
Should
down,
do it.
left click.
Left click. Excuse me.
What's that?
That is a it's another one of the sliding doors, except for that's how they get the supplies onto the ship.
But that doesn't connect to the gangplank?
No.
It's on the opposite side, so it actually faces the water.
Yeah. So this is facing the water. They weren't necessarily suspecting a supply that would need to be gotten from this. This might be like from another boat coming up and dropping it off there.
Can you? I just have one more. I know I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I have another question. Are there more like obviously flammable goods or explosive goods either in the storage or over here?
So those boxes right there are a couple open empty containers. Maybe they had goods at one time. They're probably more out of place now, blocking this exit. Like the guards were standing there, and as the explosion went off, it kind of, since they're empty, they're easily movable, so they kind of slid to the side.
Yeah.
But they are made of wood.
Okay.
There's not a lot of furnishings around here that would be flammable.
Sure.
Those
The
are probably the only
cookers maybe, right? A little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
The
But
boat
like,
itself is like iron or something, right? It's like
Yeah.
a big heavy metal.
yeah, it's
warship.
not made of wood.
Okay. Krisa would like to attempt to dispatch the two gentlemen at the end of the hallway, perhaps with the
Yeah.
assistance of his bandits. Are the
Definitely.
bandits? Is it one
Bandits
very
are the-
large man, or is it?
It's
because I
two-
didn't want to.
It's two guys, right?
I
Because there were
believe right now
three,
it's.
and Weaver's one of them.
I
So.
believe there was 4 at one point.
Okay, 3 it is.
Kind of established that the bandits are as an entity 4. And I think like right now Weaver leaving them is kind of like I assumed like someone would fill the role fairly quickly. So there's the Bird, who was one of the bandits, is not here. Unfortunately, him being his own person, he didn't come to this, but you still have 4 guys that are here.
Okay.
I didn't want to draw 4 singular like circles and then
They move as
individually. Yeah, they're just gonna be one entity tonight. And as you were eyeing these Foghounds up, I keep wanting to say Lampblacks because those are like, we've been fighting them a lot. But as you eye the Foghounds up, they kind of are pulling themselves off the position you were just in and are like looking around to see like what the hell's going on.
Krisa would, motion to his bandits and point over at the guys.
Yeah.
Wreck 'em!
Okay.
I mean, spaghetti!
Yeah, and the two see you as you say this, and they're a little, disoriented, but they can suddenly see that the guys who were delivering goods are now holding weapons and don't look like delivery men.
Oh, they're about to deliver
Right.
some goods, all right. Like swords
Nuggets.
into people.
Yeah.
That's
Just like
Penetrate
that.
them with your sword.
So, generally, how using your cohort to attack is a command
Uh-huh.
roll with them. They roll as well. It's kind of like a group action roll.
Okay.
Unless you were, actually, I'd seen this.
Okay, so Kreese says, can I tell you about more what he wants to be doing? He
Go ahead.
doesn't care about those 2 guys. He recognizes they pose a threat, and he wants them to be dealt with. He wants to go back into that room that sprung a leak and make it worse.
Okay.
He wants to wreck that room.
hell yeah.
Okay. Let me look up the thing, because I feel like there's something we're supposed to do in this case, but I can't remember
Shouldn't he just
exactly.
make 2 rolls, 1 command roll and one rec
And then
roll?
wreck.
Yeah,
I mean,
Or
it's
even
it's not like a linked
wreck,
action.
and then
right, so.
next time it comes around to me, I can fight with them or something. I don't know.
I'll look for it, but yeah, we'll do that. So I think what you'll do is roll a command roll. It's kind of a group action, but rather than you being involved in it, you're giving them the job. So we're gonna roll a command roll, and we're gonna roll their quality as well.
Just the
This is
position.
wrong. I don't care because if this is wrong, I apologize, but I haven't had a lot of references for
They're
cohorts
very
for some
they're
reason,
very
so,
quality is
Yeah.
very is their quality. And many is their
So
quantity.
quality?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Oh, so are you rolling something right now?
Quality 1.
I'll be rolling their quality, which is 2, so
Okay.
it's 2 dice.
Okay.
We got the increased quality ones. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Start at 1. Increased quality is cool.
So you can roll your command at any point.
What position am I in here?
I think right now you are actually. If you want to be in a desperate, I could put you, but I think right now it's risky because the people in the other room are in a desperate because they're surrounded by enemies, whereas you are not because you killed the only one that was an immediate threat, and these 2
Right.
were across the boat.
Okay, and the effect is standard, right?
Standard effect.
Any bonus dice? I don't think I need to push myself here. Well, I don't have any. Do you have a devil's bargain for me or anything? This is not the role I'm as interested in, for sure.
Here's one. Perhaps you get the +1d, but the bandits are then going to, after completing their action or failing at it, I guess, just be separated from you. Like you're going to be too caught up doing your own thing to be able to easily make another command roll with them.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
What I said? Oh, I just ended up rolling one. I bonus one. It throws me off every time.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
wait
I
a
think it's
minute.
like giving me one extra one, assuming that I'm going to roll at least one dice. But
Do you have 0 in command?
yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, normally you'd roll 2, take the lower, but you had a devil's bargain, so you roll 1. Let's see how they do. Okay. So you say Reckham.
Hey,
and
Ralph.
The 4 of them. Yeah. The 4 of them like grab.
One's named Ralph now.
Yeah. Ralph kind of bellows the top of his lungs and charges down.
I'm gonna wreck it.
He's got like a hatchet in his hand, and the other 3 grab like a gun and a sword and stuff like that, and they charge down the corridor and start fighting these 2 helpless Foghounds who are outnumbered quite a bit. And you can see as they're fighting them, they clearly have the upper hand, and you don't have to worry about them at all. And there's totally nothing to worry about, and thus you don't have to worry about them anymore, and you won't have to ever think of them again.
Great.
And so, and you have the perfect opportunity to do whatever you want now.
I did it.
So, what was it exactly you wanted to do after that?
So Carissa wants to make both the hole and the leak. He wants to put a final nail in the coffin of the Foghounds here by wrecking their boat. And he's assuming that an explosion that has resulted in a leak in the most weight-bearing storage area of their whole facility might be a good place to do it. So I don't know if that means finding a way to probably not catching more things on fire, but probably finding a way to push all the other objects into the hole / make the hole bigger.
Okay. Are you trying to speed the process of the ship sinking up enough?
I'm trying to make it worse and make it go faster.
Okay. So what is the time period that you want this ship to
The year
in this amount of
748.
time? Yeah, at this amount of time. When would this ship?
I want the fact that the ship is taking on water and about to sink to become imminent in the other room as fast as I can.
Okay.
So I don't know how much time that you think that should take, considering the condition of the ship, because I don't have a lot of tools, but I don't know exactly how bad it is. I have kind of a vague idea of that.
Well, I mean, you say you don't have tools, but I believe you have
I have some stuff.
fine wrecker gear.
Oh yeah,
which is a thing. Let's pull that up real quick and read. I mean, that's something that will totally give you a finely crafted set of tools for sabotage and destruction.
Okay.
I was
Small, powerful drill.
He's got a damn crowbar.
hell
You
yeah.
have vials of acid and a spark torch cutter and small fuel tanks. So I
Oh my
think.
god. Okay.
Perfect.
just cut a hole in the
Actually,
boat.
just kidding. I had everything I needed.
Yeah.
Great.
I think this is probably going to be the best position and best effect roll of this session, just
Also
based
have
on
2
the
points
fact
in
that so you kind of enter the storage bay, and the water is now at your ankles and slowly kind of coming up to you, the bottom of your it's starting to spill into your shoes and get your socks all wet. It's probably the first time they've been. Yeah, exactly. They're just perpetually damp. And you can see that structural, there's kind of beams that have been kind of dented, and there's a hole. You can see the water beneath it, and you can kind of see, if I do this here, if I take a blowtorch to that, and if I place this instrument here, it can make this. You can probably speed the time up from a 20-minute window to a 5-minute window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
For total sinking or for obvious it's happening
It's gonna happen
okay.
in the next it's gonna sink in
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to structurally compromise this entire boat. The damage is going to extend further than the storage bay.
I mean, that's probably not a super safe thing to do, right?
That also doesn't. Super safe doesn't really sound like Kreese's forte either.
It's not. I was going to argue for desperate no matter what you said to that question, but you tell me.
You want it to be a desperate roll, or
I think it is.
okay. I'm trying to think of, because I mean, yeah, I'll give you a desperate, and added measure, the ship will like rock back and forth. Like it'll be very obvious that something is happening to the boat to everyone that
Horribly
knows
wrong.
about boats. Yeah.
Maybe
Anyone on
I
the
find
ship.
a way to splinter it so that seam that's on the bottom of the whole thing is like splitting.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's make a roll. So you're gonna roll wreck, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Gonna be a desperate position. I'm gonna say that. What?
You were answering probably my question. What's
Yeah,
the effect on this one?
Yeah, the effect is going to be great because you have your wrecking gear with you.
Okay. I don't get bonus dice for that though, do I?
No, it just increases the, damage you're doing essentially. Shit.
We should take a break here.
Yeah.
That's what we
I
should
think-
do.
So what happens is what we cut out on is you go and you got your little like goggles, you like from the like blowtorch, and you're like cutting the beam, and like suddenly there's this like metal on metal like groaning of the entire ship, and the beam like flips up in front of you, and it's like 4 feet. It's like now sticking out of the boat, and you're like looking at it, and I think we'll get one like what is your reaction to this it's you
Is this a surprise?
really like you were like, I'm gonna do this and it's going to kind of cause the fissure into the boat, and it didn't cause the fissure into the boat and is now
It's-
sticking out of the hole and causing other problems.
Kreese is like
And we like zoom in onto your face, and it's just like a and then it's back for the commercial break.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having as much fun breaking boats as we are. We'll be back in 5 minutes. We're just going to go take a quick break. We'll be back until 9 o'clock Pacific time. So thank you for watching, and don't go anywhere.